Okay, how is my voice?
Yeah, sick. How's my voice?
It's good. How's my voice?
Good. How's my voice?
It's good. How's my voice?
It's good. How's my voice?
Dude! Sweet!
What does it say? Go ahead.
Okay. So, actually, one thing that I've been doing lately is normally I listen to podcasts because I like to extract a lot of information, but it goes all day. So I'll go from YouTube, there's a couple podcasts, or I'll watch something, and the point is always to extract information. Or there's like 5 podcasts on Spotify that I'll watch back to back to back. So there's always like a stream of information going in my mind, and I'm always thinking. But then, and I guess because of lockdown, we've been inside, I'm like, oh, I have all this time where I can kind of like passively listen to podcasts while I'm doing other things. So I haven't been listening to music a lot. But, you know, within
I'm the opposite.
Well, that's the funny thing is that I have
much more time on music and not any time really listening to podcasts.
Well, I've been doing the opposite now. So I've, within the last like 2 days, like not very long, I started listening to music again, which is sick. So like I like singing, dancing a little bit, and I realized like, oh, I haven't danced in so long.
Makes you feel good.
It does. That's what I was
Podcasts make you
thinking.
feel good too, for sure. Because
They do, but it depends.
Understand what's going
So
on.
like I listen to like 7 podcasts, and 2 of them are entertainment. The others are all like extracting information, like that whole like educational, personal development.
Entertainment in what sense?
Well, one of them is Tim Chantarangsu, formerly Timothy De La Ghetto.
Are you allowed to shout out other podcasts?
Probably, yeah. They're a great podcast. They're the No Chaser gang, or the No Chaser podcast. They're really, really fun. You should check them out. So it's Tim, his best friend Rick, and another girl named Nikki Blades. They're all really, really cool and really funny, and they'll bring in guests sometimes, or they'll just talk.
They talk about actual concepts though, and then just make jokes.
They talk about whatever's relevant. So usually they'll have a guest, and that guest will be like, yo, what have you been up to? This controversial thing that you've been in. And then when it's just them, they'll talk about like, oh, what's it like being the middle child versus the older child? Or
Oh,
like,
that's cool. That's cool.
A lot of
Yeah,
like
not
sex
just, like, as
and like
serious.
not drugs, but like just partying and sex. Like that's like their lives. They're in that entertainment industry, and they have a lot of stories to tell. They're really funny. And then the other one is Tiny Meat Gang, which is Cody Ko and Noel Miller. They just talk about like relevant news. It's a lot more wacky and out there. With Tim, the No Chaser podcast, I can relate to it because it's like these are stories, like this is funny. With Cody and Noel, it's more like just making fun of whatever they talk about. So I don't listen to that one as much, but anyways, yeah, sorry. Music has been back in my life, reintroduced, and it's so nice. Like I didn't realize
Music can convey those things that you want in your life too, you know, when you can't express what you want to say or how you want to feel, you have the music to explain that, similar to how a podcast would, you know, when you can't figure out the words to say, and in the podcast they talk about something that you're feeling, and then you're able to like not compare yourself, but like juxtapose yourself to this feeling and understand the feeling. Same with music, you know, music has a lot of that. It's all written on feeling, which is super cool. So whenever you're feeling sad, happy, angry, want to work out, like put on the theme of music and you're in it.
Yeah. You know what's funny actually though, because I remember you had told me that pretty much with every song you feel something.
For sure.
But like for me, I basically feel nothing for most songs. I have a playlist of maybe
You
20.
feel nothing.
I feel nothing. I'm heartless.
You feel nothing.
I'm just like, oh, this is a nice beat or this is a nice voice or whatever. But there's a small playlist of maybe like 20 songs that I do feel something.
Well, do you like listen to the lyrics and the emotion?
I
conveyed
try
in
to.
that?
I think so. Maybe not. Do you do that?
Yeah, all the time.
Like you actively trying to get the message?
Yeah,
through
yeah,
the
for sure.
lyrics?
Every time, like that's how you connect to a song to like another level, you know. So
I
you can
guess.
say this song is your favorite song, you know, because it's like, whoa, I really feel that way at that one moment, you know. And there's always songs that are like time stamped, you know, when you're having a feeling, you're feeling bad or you're feeling really happy, and there's a song playing in the background during that time. You hear that song and you're just always brought back to that memory, you know. Whether it be good or sad. Sometimes the sad ones you just don't go back to because you're like, damn, that song's just too sad for me, you know, because this is a sad point in my life.
You know what I find? So out of those 20 songs I call my playlist Feels, because that's when I feel something.
20 songs.
20
20 songs of feelings.
Maybe 20. And out of those like 20 songs, it's rare that the lyrics will make me feel something. It's actually more so the voice and the melody. Whether it's the melody of what they're singing or the melody of the track in the background, it's rarely
Okay.
ever the lyrics, which is interesting. Like
So for me, it's usually like I would hear that first, and I hear the beat, and like the beat makes me feel a certain way, and then the melody of the voice makes me feel a certain way. But then that's like the initial thought of the song. But then when you listen to it again, because you enjoy the beat and the melody, then you start like breaking down the lyrics and breaking down what they're talking about, and you, like I said, feel the ways that they could feel, you know.
True.
So maybe you're just not past that one step. You just gotta like pass the beat, pass the melody, and then get to the deep part.
Get to the deep.
Yeah. So welcome everybody.
Hey guys, welcome.
This is us just chilling out. I'm Mitch.
I'm Marc.
This is Marc.
Hi. So I met Mitch in high school, grade 10. I was doing parkour with our friend. This friend was like, yo, Mitch knows how to flip too. Like, he should come. And then we met up at the park. And when I first met him, I was like, yo, this guy's sketchy as hell. Because he would do backflips off of this, like, storage cement block room.
You always bring that one up.
Yeah, because he always would. And he'd go from one cement block to the other. But there was, like, a foot gap. And I was like, how are you doing backflips off this? I swear one time you did a backflip, landed short, and you almost hit.
Yeah, I'm like falling into the other metal,
Yeah.
concrete piece. Yeah, that was chill though.
Yeah, forever been sketch.
That's good. And then after that, after grade 10, we didn't talk much. And then that same friend was like, mentioned that we're both going to the same university. And then we decided to room together.
Yeah.
And then we roomed together for the first year.
We were going in for the same degree, which is kinesiology. And we had the same average, 87.5. Do you remember that?
Yeah. That's crazy.
And I was like, yo, this was meant to be.
So we got the same res.
Yeah. Same. Well, yeah, we applied together.
We hung out all the time. We went to cheer practice.
This guy would keep me up at night. Like, I was
And he'd
going
wake
to
me
bed
up early.
No, here's the thing, because I go to sleep at whatever time, but I fall asleep really fast.
Just like that. He falls asleep so fast.
Yeah, we'll get to stories about that in another time. But I would be laying there in the dorm, and I'd be like, okay, dude, night, like, I gotta go to bed. And then, like, a minute later, no, not even that. A minute later, I'll hear, hey, Marc. I'm like, what? He's like, hey. I was like, what the fuck are you keeping me up for?
Marc, you going to bed yet?
Yeah, no, you would say that.
yet?
You'd be like, are you going to bed yet? You asleep yet?
You
I'm
fall
like,
asleep?
Obviously not, you fucking guy.
But there's situations where you fall asleep so damn fast. Tell them about the situation on the trip across Canada you took.
Okay, so, background, me and my three friends, four of us took a road trip across Canada. We started in Toronto, went to Northern Ontario, across Manitoba, Saskatchewan, stayed in Alberta for a few days, and then Vancouver for a few days. And then we hit up like Portland, Oregon, Seattle, down the West Coast, hit up LA for a few days, Vegas for a few days, and then drove from Vegas back to Toronto. And it was really cool because through university we met these friends that lived in Calgary and in Vancouver, so we stayed with them, and like we like not rekindled, but we were like hanging out again because we had all graduated. That was our graduating trip. Anyways, so we're in Calgary at our friend's place, and the four of us are in her basement in this one room. We're all like in sleeping bags and beds and stuff, and it's just known that I fall asleep really fast and just anywhere all the time.
So fast.
So we're all laying there, and then we turn off the lights, and I'm like, okay guys, night, whatever. And all like a minute later I start snoring, and they'll start laughing, and I woke up. I was like, oh shoot, yo, well, what's going on? You guys are good? And they're like, yeah, we're just laughing because you fell asleep. And I was like, oh, that's jokes. Literally right after. I don't know, I just like, my whole family's like that. My grandma, she would fall asleep watching TV. Like, she would be perched up on like the ledge of the couch and just like watching.
That's a
and then
grandma
just
for you though.
drop, like just the neck would drop.
That's
Everything else is still on.
Do you fall asleep during the day? Like, are you tired?
Well, so you know what, high school was like normal. I would nap after if I did.
Yeah.
University, hella tired all the time. In
Always.
lecture, like in the library. I fell asleep like in a lab once.
I have a whole photo album of just Marc's falling asleep photos, because he'd fall asleep anytime we did anything. He'd fall asleep on the way to cheer practice. He'd fall asleep in the library. Yeah, like I have all these photos.
There was one time I would
It
get
was like up close of his face, just like from the weirdest angle of him just like sleep.
There was one time, where was it? We were getting up for class. Like, it was like what, like 7:30 a.m. And
Yeah.
I get up early. I'm like, I'm up. I'm already awake. I just get more awake. I don't get tired generally. So I got ready, came back to the room. I was like ready to go to class. My boots were on, my jacket was on. Mitch is still in bed. I was like, fuck, man, I just gotta wait for this dude. I was early, so I was like, cool. I can sit on the bed for like 5-10 minutes while he brushes his teeth and shit. I sit down on the bed and I fell asleep.
His boots on, his coat on. He's falling asleep with his hands locked in his thing, with a hat on and his hood over his head, this winter jacket on. Falling asleep in bed. I come back and I was like, we going to class now?
You know what's funny? So I wasn't sure I was gonna bring this up. Super random. Sometimes I snore before I'm asleep. So like I'll be lying. Sometimes I'll give you examples. So I'll be lying in bed. I took a nap before I came here, and before I was asleep, I was still awake. I was like, when am I gonna fall asleep? Hopefully in the next 10 seconds.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
And it's like, and I'm like, oh, I'm
Yeah,
but
you wake yourself up.
no, but I'm not even asleep.
I know, but you're about to, and you start waking yourself
Yeah,
up. Like,
and I'm like,
who's
I'm
snoring?
like, why am I snoring? I'm still awake. So I stop it, and I'm like, and then 10 seconds later, I'm like, why am I doing that?
Because you do that. Yeah, this guy doesn't think he snores. He snores all the time. Every time you sleep anywhere, it's just snoring.
You know why? Because I wake up and my mouth is sealed shut. And you know when your tongue is like suction cupped in your mouth, and then
To the
you
roof?
you stick out your tongue, and it has like the indents of your teeth. That happens all the time, I think. So then when I would get up,
so hard.
I don't know. I'm just clenching so hard maybe because I don't want to sleep with my mouth open because spiders are gonna crawl in it.
Wow. He does this thing where when he starts falling asleep, he goes like. So we're at the cottage like 2 weeks ago, and then we're all like getting ready for bed and shit. And once again, I'm a little bit later than everybody else, so I'm like getting ready for bed, and I come into the room, and all I hear is. And I'm like, okay, like I guess we're all going to bed now. He's like, yeah, let's go to bed. And I was like, you were asleep. And he's like, no. And I was like, yeah, you were, bro. Like you're fully asleep right there.
You know what's funny? That same cottage trip, the other night, it was like the same situation. He was the last to get into the room. It was like me, our friend JJ, and then him. And the lights were off, but he turned them back on to get in because he was last. And I woke up. I was like, oh shoot, nice. We're all gonna hang out now. Turns off the light, immediately fell back
so
asleep.
fast. Yeah. Just, and then me and JJ were just like, wow. Came and hang out.
Yeah, no.
So other than that, yeah, that's how we met. We hang out still. Now we live in the same city, so we hang out probably like once a week now.
Which is actually, you know what though?
Oh, we work together too.
We just started a new job
Yeah,
together.
true.
You know what's funny though is that so we have this group of we call it the boys. Obviously, everyone calls their friend group the boys. Anyways, the boys group is there's what 5 of us, 6 of us, and
I think so.
what was it? Maybe initially after we graduated. So let's say 2017 to 2019. Mitch was like kind of a ghost in that group chat.
Oh yeah, I was never in it.
You would be like the guy that flopped all the time. Or just never, you didn't ever commit.
Wasn't getting invited.
You just never committed. No,
I wouldn't even
you're
read,
in the
I wouldn't
group
even read
chat.
the group chat. It would just like be there and then be like hundreds of messages. And I'm like, yo, I just can't. Like I'm so busy. Like I have no time to check these messages. Because in the group chats, I'll just like shooting the shit and talking about whatever.
Oh, we love shooting shit.
Yeah, and memes. So it's like I have to filter through memes to like find a hangout day.
Yeah, but they're
it's like, I
so
just get all the
fun.
time.
They're so funny. All
Memes
the
or hangout
conversations.
days?
Everything.
Yeah, that's true.
True. Yeah.
But anyways, now I'm in that group, more active.
Yeah.
Still not as active though.
But it's funny. So like, anyways, within that 2017 to 2019 era, like I don't think I really saw you almost at all.
After
Maybe
university?
like 1 to 2, 3 times a year.
Yeah. I didn't see you at all really, unless we were doing like a hangout with the group.
Well, you were also living with your other friend, so like you had him to hang out with all the time. I was always hanging out with my roommates, like
True.
and then like we had to like leave work. We
And
were
I
both
went back to
working all the
Saga,
time. Yeah,
and
you've been to Saga
stayed,
for a
and you
bit.
stayed in Toronto, so I didn't hang out with you much. But anyway, so now we been hanging out lots because I live so close now.
Yeah, you live just down the street.
Just down the street, 10-minute bike ride.
Him, motherfucker, yeah.
Wear your helmet, everybody.
I wore my helmet. I was
Yeah,
worried
I saw
about
it,
my
I saw
hair,
it.
and I was like, fuck. But then I was like, you know what?
Safety first.
You know why? Because I preach to everyone. I'm that guy. I'm the dad who's always like, my friend will go out for a bike ride. I'll be like, hey, you wearing a helmet? I'd be like, no. I'd be like, wear a fucking helmet. Don't be an idiot.
Put the helmet on.
But I almost didn't wear
Give
one
you a
today.
reason to wear a helmet.
I'm going to give you one.
Sometimes when I go to Shoppers, I don't wear a helmet.
Inside the Shoppers?
I'm going to Shoppers.
Oh. I was
And
like,
then I put the helmet on when I'm in Shoppers. That's the only time I wear my helmet. Is
just
inside
in case,
Shoppers.
you never know. Coconut might fall on your head.
Yeah, true.
In the streets of
Shoppers,
Toronto.
You never know.
Yeah.
I told you the story about that girl that I know that had the accident with the bike.
Oh, like a serious accident?
I tell you the story?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. So
You've had a lot of accidents.
No,
You should,
no, not
you
that
should wear
serious.
a helmet.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will eventually. Like I have a helmet. I just gotta find it because I just moved, so I don't know where anything is.
Oh,
But
true.
I'll go Shoppers like a 2-minute bike ride, so it's not like anything serious. But also just because it's 2 minutes doesn't mean you shouldn't wear a helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Feel that. So this girl I know, really well. I grew up with her. She's a cousin of like one of my good homies. She 2.5 years in the city. She lived down on Bloor and Dufferin. So 2.5 years in the city. Rode a bike always and never wore a helmet. And one day she like woke up and she's like, every bone in my body told me to buy a helmet that day.
Wow.
So just like she woke up at 9. She had work at like 2. She worked at like a restaurant at Yorkdale. So she had to go like up the hill to get to work. Anyway, so she buys this helmet and then like goes to her friend's house before work, and they're like having a couple of drinks before work, and then she heads off to work and then leaves the helmet at her friend's house. And then her friend was like drunk at the point and was like, let me drop off your helmet. And the girl was like, no, don't worry, like it's fine, I'll just pick it up another time, I'd never wear a helmet anyways. And then she's like, no, I'll drop it off, like I've might as well give you the helmet, I don't want to keep it. So then drops off the helmet, and then she's biking home at like 11:30 down Dufferin, and then fast, like pretty fast because there's no cars on the street. So she's coming to an intersection, and the car in front coming towards her is gonna make a left-hand turn at the light.
Yeah, and she's gonna go through.
She's gonna go through. So she's has eyes on him, and he's not moving because it's obvious that, not obvious, but it's like clear that he's gonna let her go first and then make the turn. So she speeds up and like gets ready to go through the light, and then as soon as she starts going through the light, he makes the turn.
Jesus.
She hits the car, hits the front of the car, goes through the driver's seat, a driver's
Wait,
windshield
into the car?
Into the car. She went into the car and then like pushed herself out of the car and then like woke up like half an hour later. So then she wakes up and then she's like feet are around her. People are surrounding her and she like looks down and then both of her arms are broken and one of her legs is broken. So she like pushed herself out of the car with like nubs.
Oh my
like
god.
broken bones. She pushed herself out of the car and then was able to like get onto the side of the road and just like God bless that she was able to be okay. Definitely a serious accident, but if she wasn't wearing the helmet, she went head first through the windshield.
Dude.
And then on her way to the hospital in the ambulance, the doctor was like, "Yo, if you didn't wear a helmet, this would have been the end for you."
Oh my god.
Crazy, yo. And so she's like always preaching, always wear a helmet no matter what too.
Yeah.
And she like understands that she's got the second life now, you know, like something in the universe gave her, like made her buy this helmet to save her life that day, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's crazy. Do you
She's
believe
like,
that like the universe does things for
I'm
you?
sorry
or
to now,
pushes you?
more so with stories like that and other stories within my life, like the situation where I was helping clean that house out and then they gave me that piece of gear for music that I like love to have, and it was like, why is that such a random thing in any house that I could have helped clean? Like that was the one thing that they're willing to give up. It was one thing that I like valued so much.
Yeah, like the owner was just like,
Have it. And I was like, wow.
like you just found it. You're like, oh, where do you want this? Like,
And he's like,
I'm
have
with
it.
you.
And I was like, dude, this is amazing. Like I would love to have this. He's like, yeah, have it. And I was like, that's crazy. Like that's just such a random thing. Could be any house anywhere in the city.
Mm-hmm.
This is in a random city, in a random person's house that I don't even know, giving me this like hugely valuable thing toward to me. Like doesn't mean it's valuable to him. But so more so like that, and that with the situation and the biking situation, and just more so these days, more so believing in the universe, that everything is like, oh, it's cliche, but everything's meant to happen, and everything happens because there's something making it happen, you know?
Are you spiritual?
Like religious?
I guess, sure. Yeah.
Not so much. Is that too much of a touchy subject?
I don't know. Should we?
Probably not talking about
You know,
religion.
I was gonna say,
Probably
should we
religion,
talk
bro.
about certain things that are kind of touchy? And I was like, well,
Universe is
why
fine.
don't we just talk about what we talk about?
Yeah. How about you? Do you believe in the universe?
I'm not religious. Never grew up around religion. My family's, I believe, Roman Catholic. But I guess in my immediate family, like my mom and my dad, we never went to church. We lived in a small town in Uxbridge. Shout out Uxbridge. How the fuck did I just shout out my hometown? It's not even like Toronto or
farmland,
Mississauga.
yeah.
It's
It
like
shouts at the
it's literally
farmlands.
it's literally farmland, yeah, and like a small town. Shout out Roxy Theater. I just did it again. Anyways, so like I don't even. It
Shout
wouldn't
out
be
that one
like
street I was born on.
that Goodwood,
What?
Goodwood Road. Goodwood Road. Yeah.
Nice.
So like it was a small town. So like going to the grocery store was like a 15-20 minute drive. I don't think the closest church would even be that close. Versus if I grew up in Mississauga, Toronto, a bigger city.
Dude, I feel like churches are everywhere.
But to get there, like,
Not so easy. Yeah,
you know what I
fair.
mean? So like in where we grew up
Just
in
right
high
around the
school,
corner.
it's just around the corner.
Yeah, you're right.
For me, back in Uxbridge, it probably would have been like 20-30 minutes. And then I don't think my parents are overly religious anyways. Never went to church. The only time I went to church was like weddings. So not really. But my mom in particular is spiritual is too vague and broad of a word, but in a sense spiritual. Like, and I believe the same things as her, which is, you know, I believe in the flow of the universe. Everything happens for a reason. Karma, just like that thing. But it's not like there's spirits around us right now. It's more just like, you know, put out good energy, you'll get that back kind of thing.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what though? I did recently take up an interest in learning about religion, specifically Buddhism, but I don't put in the time to do that.
I was hanging out with Brendan the other day, one of the guys I work with for music, and going to his car to put his guitar in the car and open the trunk of the car, and there's just like
A Buddha.
no, there's just like a book that says like Jesus is here, and it's like this thick book, and I was like,
Yeah.
the only thing in his whole trunk is facing the door, and I was like, why do you have this? He's like, it's good to learn. I was like,
Wow.
why is it in your trunk? He's like, I don't know.
Good for
Nothing in
him.
his whole car except for this book about Jesus.
That's kind of cool though, because like as a song, he's a songwriter as well as a singer,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like if you could learn about these different motifs, themes, symbolism, you could incorporate that into
For
music.
sure.
Versus
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, you know, woke up when talking about service level things. You could talk about
Like much deeper things. For
yeah,
sure.
which is cool. But I guess that
Interesting that he chose religion, but he's a worldly guy. He knows about a bunch of stuff that
Okay.
he loves to research. So whenever he's bored, he researches. But I remember hearing about like Eminem reading the dictionary. Just you ever heard of that?
no,
He was,
actually,
like,
are you being serious?
Yeah. I don't know if
Wow.
it's a true story.
That makes
but,
a lot
like,
of sense.
It might have been a rumor or like it is a true story. But he's just like read the dictionary
Yeah.
and like learn words to use in sentences to rhyme. You know.
Okay, two things. One, I like to read, and
That's nice.
read. That's it. Number two, no I'm kidding. Number one, I like to read, and when I read a book that uses really I'll give you the story. So there's this book that I read called The Overstory. It is incredible. It's by Richard Powers. It's like 500 something pages, and it's about these people that have seemingly disconnected lives, but they all come together, and each person kind of represents a tree. And really, the whole book is about trees. But the book is about humanity, like human psychology, human nature, the world around us, and like just what we're doing to it. It's incredibly well written. And when I see the author use words that are hyper specific to that sentence or to the context, that's like there's no other word that he
gives it more strength.
It's like, wow, this is amazing. And I had to buy the dictionary.com app because there was so many words I didn't know, and I was like, I almost put the book down because like I can't even do this. What the hell is a xylem? It's like a blood vessel for a tree, I think. Basically, it's like water though and nutrients.
Oh, cool.
So all these hyper specific words, I was like, this is so cool that the English language is
so vast.
So versatile. Yeah, so vast, so versatile, and like can you have so many different.
Just like the word Sonder, it's such a weird word for such a specific thing.
Yeah,
like the word Sonder is such a specific word. It means the understanding of complex lives that other people have around you, but it's such a specific word. Like all those words I just said to describe it are in one word, you know. Like all you do is use that one word to describe that feeling, that thing. That it's cool.
Yeah, I told you this before. I'm actually not sure that Sonder is an official word because I googled it. Yeah, I think I googled Sonder define, and it was just like it didn't say Sonder with the pronunciation :
give you the red squiggly line.
The feeling of this and that. Yeah, no, it didn't. It was just like this is a term that is generally used to say this, and I was like, oh, that's weird.
Does it have a meaning?
Yeah, it has the meaning of.
But other than that, it's not a word.
Well, I mean, I just looked at the first Google result. It wasn't like is Sonder a word. It just. But normally when you like like house define, you'll be like house : a structure that houses people, shelter, this and that. This was just like Sonder is a term that is
Sonder
used to do
may
this.
be used sometimes for this. Who knows? We gotta check the dictionary. Check that app, bro. You paid for it.
My phone, I can't.
Yeah, your phone's recording, but you paid for it. So after this, we'll figure that out and let you guys know next time.
Okay. I forget what my second thing was.
Oh, so the first wasn't that you read books.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the book about?
Trees.
Trees are nice.
Incredible book. Yeah, honestly, you should read it. It's quite a lot.
Well, like what topics they talk about in the book that we can go over right now?
It's not topics. It's like a fictional
so what's the
story.
concept of it?
Basically, there's like 10 people, and it's quite brutal. It's quite almost gruesome in certain parts of the book, but each person goes about their lives, goes through certain challenges, experiences, but it all for example, there's this farmer boy who relates to, I believe, a chestnut tree, and like all the vegetation around him and all the other trees die except for this one, and it like lasts the test of time. There's a girl who her father was like, oh, this is like our family like ginkgo tree or something, some Asian tree, I don't remember, and like that's a reoccurring theme in her life. And it's kind of like, for example, he would relate, the girl needed the strength to overcome this challenge, and then he'll start talking about the tree that's related to her and being like, this ginkgo tree actually spreads out its roots and connects to other trees, and it leans on them for support, and they share nutrients, and it will relate that back to the girl. And I was like, oh my god,
is the tree symbolism then?
Yeah. The trees are symbolisms or symbolic of, I would say in one word, humanity. And it was so cool.
Like their connection with humanity.
Dude, I can't look at trees same ever again. And you know who recommended it?
You want to hug a tree, don't you?
Dude, I'm gonna do more than just hug a tree. Okay, I'm kidding. No, but like it was recommended to me from Hugh Jackman, my boy. And I'm kidding. No, Wolverine. No, he's not my boy.
He's Wolverine though.
He is Wolverine though. Yeah. Wolverine. I mean, sorry. Hugh Jackman was on Tim Ferriss's podcast, which is one of the podcasts I listen to, and he was like, Tim, he's got an Australian accent. Tim, you got to read this book. The Overstory is amazing. It's blah, 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 this and that. And Tim's like, oh man, I've been recommended that a bunch of times, but it's hefty. I'm not sure I'm going to do it. And I was like, you know what? I fucking love Wolverine.
He's got the things.
If there's any person
that you're going to
listen to about a book recommendation, it's Wolverine. And then next thing you know, here I am buying dictionary.com app.
Sponsored by Wolverine.
Sponsored by Wolverine.
What was the second thing?
I don't remember. Okay, here's one. Okay. All right. Do you think that you should be friends with your exes?
That's tough. I feel like it's hard because I think you should be able to be friends with your exes, because if you both grow and you both become different people and it's a clear indication that you guys aren't meant to be together and you're able to maintain or create a friendship from that, then that's good, because at one point you value them and they were probably the most important person in your life at that moment, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But on the second hand is like going into a relationship in the future knowing that your ex is like one of your good friends, you know? That doesn't seem like something that that person would appreciate too much. I'm just thinking of it like how it would be translated on me if I was like seeing somebody and they're like, oh, my best friend's actually someone I dated for 3 years. And I'm like, it's a little bit much. But I'm not saying you have to cut that person out of your life, because the people that I've had past relationships with, I value because they've brought so much to me and my life, you know, and helped me be the person who I am. So that's a tough one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I personally I would love to be friends, not talking every day, but like, I don't know, checking in once every few months, like happy to see them on the street.
Or like say something, have a conversation with them that is actually of substance.
Yeah, I would love to do that with my exes. I don't think they want to do that with me. So that's like,
that's fair. It's definitely, it takes two to tango.
I would love to be friends with my exes, but I think for the sake of, and I don't know if this sounds cocky, but for the sake of their mental health and just like happiness, it's probably better that I'm not friends with them, because it brings back those things. You know, it's like I'm not over you, or like I don't like you, or whatever. Like,
that's what I was saying. If they're both in the same place, if you're both in the same place, to accept that friendship as a friendship, you know, where like I've had situations where I've seen a girl and it didn't go the way I wanted it to, but I can still be good friends with them, and I'm not going to talk to them every day, but when I see them, I'm like, yo, what's up? Like, how have you been? Like, what's going on with you?
Because you still care about their well-being. It's not like, because it's almost, the conversation is almost, look, you're not that person for me, but like I still care about your well-being. I still want you to be happy. It's not with me, and but like that sucks.
I also think that's coming from the view of you being the one to initiate the end of that said relationship,
right? Because
if you were on the receiving end, it'd be a different story.
So I was not dumped. We weren't even dating. We were like almost about to date, and then she actually was like, you know, I'm actually not ready for this. I can't do this with you. And I was like, this isn't pathetic, but I was like, why? Like, I want to, like, blah blah this and that. I was like, what the hell was I saying? I actually,
man, you can't change
I know that's the only time that I think to myself, I don't know if I could be friends with this person. Now I think I could.
Wait, in that moment when you had that initial feeling?
Yeah, initially I was distraught. I was like, I don't get this. Like, just be ready. Like, I'm right here. I'm ready. I'm ready too. And
then if she could have been like, oh, I'm just okay to just be friends, and then at that moment you're the one that's like, there's just no chance.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I can't unsee you in the way that I see you.
Yeah, for sure.
However, with time, I think I see her as a friend, and I would love to talk to her more, but she's like went off to get a boyfriend and do whatever. So I don't think.
Even then, you can still talk to her, I'm assuming, unless the...
Yeah, like we'll say happy birthday. I actually really enjoy. Well,
I really enjoy birthdays.
Is it weird to say that I enjoy telling my exes happy birthday?
A little bit.
Oh fuck! Okay,
that sounds a little weird.
Well,
like, it's okay to do it.
Well, you still care about them. It's like a friend, you know.
Yeah, but it's okay to do it. But the way you said it didn't sound like it's. It sounded like
it sounds a little weird the way
I say happy birthday to my ex-girlfriend.
Yeah,
you know?
No, it's more like
if they got boyfriends. I'm saying happy birthday.
It's more like I don't think it's an egotistical thing. It's the way that I see it is more like I would love to show these people that were important to me at one point in my life, and technically still are, that I still value them and care about them. I appreciate them as a person. Granted, it is a little weird to be like, oh, we used to date like 2 years
7 years ago. Like,
no, not 7. Okay, hold on. Okay, it's not like all my exes. It's like all the ones up to since I've been like 20.
You had a play date once in grade 2, and you still message her every day, every year, happy birthday.
Remember that one time that we were playing in the sandbox together?
Happy birthday again this year. It's 2021.
I made you a sandcastle to honor our love.
Just you in Jamaica with like a sandcastle just for her birthday.
Why am I in Jamaica?
I don't know. It's a nice place.
That's true. It is a nice place.
So I think that's okay, but also at the same time, there's been moments where something has ended for me, and the last thing I want to do is hear from that person again.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Because of how much I'm not saying like they hurt me, yes, but at the same time, it's like it feels like your world's been ripped apart with them. So it's like for them to come back in and not like pry, but like just showcase that things are okay when they might not be for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it seems like
it could be insensitive.
Yeah. That's kind of why I'm refraining from saying anything more than happy birthday to my exes, because it's like
for sure.
Especially if say someone ended it with me and it was like I felt like shit, and then like a year later or months later they're like, hey, how you doing, or like, hey, happy birthday. It's like, didn't you not want this? Like, go away. Like, don't talk to me.
Exactly. So like that's I feel like that's a situation if they were to want to talk more, you'd be like kind of like, okay, that's too much for me, you know. But the same time, it's different for each end, you know. If you're on the receiving end, it hurts more.
Yeah, I've been on the receiving end.
Back in that play date.
Back in, it was grade 2. The year was 1990. No, I'm kidding.
Built a sandcastle.
She stomped on my sandcastle.
Fuck. Oh, I swear.
I already swore like 7 times.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I figured we should just be
Swear.
authentic. Yeah, no, I mean, well, I guess that's, I don't know. It's partly like my personality. Like I'm fun and I'm energetic, and like I think that I can be emotionally intelligent. Well, I think I am, not that I can be, but at the same time, there's certain things that I'm just quite stoic on. Like it's just kind of like, hey, this is how
Explain
it is.
stoic to you.
To me, stoic is like, it is what it is. Like,
Yeah?
yeah, kind of. Like, not that things don't bother you, but it's like, imagine, I don't know why this example's coming up, so don't grill me for this, but like, imagine like a tribe, right? And you have like the chieftain, and then like, a child gets like run over by a horse and she's gravely injured, and everyone's crying, but they still need that one strong leader to be like, you know what, this is sad, but we need to keep moving because we need to survive. We need to do this and that. That's a
Yeah.
really random example.
No,
but
I get that. I get
yeah.
that. I get that story for sure. But at the same time, if you think about it, that stoic person doesn't always win because
Well, there's nothing to win. There's a whole book on stoicism, and it's like, it's kind of like, this is not, I don't know how accurate this is, but it's kind of like detaching from certain
The emotion.
emotions for the purpose of, or maybe just because you are that way, for the purpose of like being able to move forward.
okay.
and
But now
continue.
imagine how the person on the receiving end would feel if it's shown that you don't show any emotion anymore. Like
Well,
you've been
that's-
stoic and you're like, I'm cool to be friends and I'm cool to hang out. I'm cool to like, this is great still, but I don't want to be with you. They're probably like, it hurts more.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
That's
is
what I'm saying,
like,
you don't win. It's
because
not like it's
yeah. So like, because I'm somewhat stoic and I'm just like, hey, it is what it is. Like, I still care about you. I'm down to be friends if you can keep it that way. But like, usually that doesn't happen, and like, it might not be good for them. So that's why I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna go out of my way to like message them every month to see how they're doing. You know, like, hey, how's your mom? Like, is she still working on
happy birthday.
happy? I made a half sandcastle for your half birthday.
No, I agree, but at this, yeah, it's harder to be stoic. Like if you're using that word to describe that, it's hard to be stoic if you're on the receiving end again, because they're gonna end it with you, and then you'd be like, oh, it is what it is. No, it's not that easy anymore, because it's easier to have that feeling when you're on the giving end.
The ender.
Yeah, if you're the ender, but if you're the one on the receiving end, it's harder to have those feelings of just like, oh, okay, that's fine. There's been situations where like it hurt less, I guess, for me, you know, in situations, but there's times where I can't have that mindset, especially right away. It's like, that's not a mindset. Maybe in the future I can be like, okay, yeah, it is what it is. This is all for the better. This is part of what the universe wants for me. But in the initial, it's not like I'm going to be like, oh yeah, cool. It is what it is. No, I'm going to be like, I fucking hurt.
Yeah, like I feel like this. I'm
It
feeling
hurts.
this right
and
now.
then
Like
to
I'm going
see
through it.
you be so chill about it, and to know that I'm hurting so much, it's like, it hurts more. No?
Yeah, but what isn't going to hurt? You know,
A connection that's cut.
So what's the best scenario? Just like radio silence, and then but then you're left. I don't know what my ex-partner is doing anymore. Like, are they thinking about me? Are they not? Like, it's just another
We've
kind
had
of
this
hurt.
conversation before, and I feel like personally that's the better option.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely the better option. But I guess what I'm saying is like everything's going to hurt.
True.
So like, so now what? Just like I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah, but that doesn't give the excuse that you should still be receive checkup
Yeah,
on just
yeah.
because everything hurts. It's like, no, it hurts, but I still don't need that.
Yeah.
Don't need you to check up on me.
Yeah.
But that's like saying, yeah, once a week you hit up your ex-partner and you're like, oh, how are you doing? Just too much sometimes, you know.
But what if I want to know how they're doing? Okay.
It's not your place anymore, you know.
Yeah, it's not. It's
Yeah.
not. It's like it's almost like you gave up that, not right, but you gave up that right to check up on you, because like I don't know what
for
other word.
lack of a better word.
Yeah, for right of yeah, but it's like you gave up that position. Like, you don't want to be that person that checks up on me every week now. So like,
So you don't get
don't do it. I don't
power
want
to.
it anymore.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like I wanted it at one point. I don't want it anymore. All right, guys, thanks for checking. What?
That was a very clean ending, buddy.
Yeah, no, it's very clean. Yeah, thanks for listening. I hope you guys had fun. If you guys relate to this, like, honestly, share your stories about your exes and
We read.
spiritual.
Marc reads books.
I read books. I'll probably Hugh Jackman it up a little bit.
If Hugh Jackman has a comment, Marc will listen.
Any tree emojis in the comments, I'm gonna be really happy.
Yeah. Okay, thanks guys for tuning in.
Yeah, we'll catch you later. So you
Yeah,
can
see
take
you
it
guys.
easy. Take it easy.
Nice.
That was fun.
That was fun. I feel like it'll be more fun as we get deeper into it. But I've got to try not to exhaust all the topics.